Oi, lads. You're so hyped for this set because you love D&D and now it all seems to suck? No, there's been a few good cards so far, man. There's been a few. Ochre Jelly. XG. Creature Ooze. Trample. X +1/+1 counters. Yep. Classic. Divide. When it dies, if it had 2 or more +1/+1 counters, create a token that's a copy of it at the beginning of the next end step. That token enters the battlefield with half of those +1/+1 counters, rounded down. Okay. So for 3 mana, you get a 2/2 that becomes a 1/1. For 5 mana, you get rounded down, huh? So that's kind of terrible. 5 mana, you get a 4/4 that becomes a 2/2, which is also not great. Wait, does your token do it again? If it had 2 or more +1/+1 counters on it. It does, huh? Okay, so if you cast this for 5, I mean, you have to cast this for 5, right? For it to be even useful. Oh, which means it's pretty terrible. But there's ways to abuse this, right? You can use there's lots of cards that make you get it back, right? Like Ozolith, yeah. Ozolith. There's the Selesnya one. 2 mana 2/2. It's kind of crazy with Ozolith. It's kind of crazy with that 2/2. That seems very good. You have to play it. It's not a good card like for mono green, for example, though. You have to play it in a counters deck, but in a counters deck, this thing's crazy. If you mutate on it, do you get the mutated creature too? When it dies, create the token that's a copy of it. I guess so. Is that useful? Like, what mutate creature is that good with? Seems a pretty abusable card. Yeah, it's very abusable. It's not good enough by itself though. So you can only play this in a deck with some synergies with it, but there's a lot of good synergies with it already, and I mean there's still more cards to come. Inspiring Bard. +2/+2, gain 3 life on a 4 mana 3/3. That's a nope. Battle Cry Goblin. 2 mana 2/2 gobbo, +1/+0 on your goblins, and haste for 2. Interesting. When you attack with total power 6 or greater, create a 1/1 goblin tapped and attacking. Haste is a word, chat. Give your team +1/+0 on haste for 2 is a thing. It's a thing. Looks good. I don't think there's enough goblins in standard. I don't think there's anything close to enough goblins to play a goblin deck. Okay, there's 1 goblin. Oh no, wait. I seem to be in the wrong colours for goblins. Charger. This thing's a goblin, huh? Whenever you draw your second turn, create black rats. Do we have any new goblins? I mean, it has 2 1-drops, dude. That's a good start. But you never know, man. There may be a goblin deck, because that card is serious, man. This thing here is no joke. Most likely more goblins coming in this set. Yeah, I mean, it's still pretty far off having enough though, and you also need, on top of having good goblins, you need something else, right? You need a payoff for playing goblins. So like a Herald's Horn or something like that. But, so the deck is still quite far away, but in a D&D set, I mean, it might get there. White. 1 black creature, zombie, soldier. White enters the battlefield tapped. Life drain. Whenever a creature dealt damage by white this turn dies, create a token and exile that card. Seems pretty terrible. More like black, am I right? Terrible? I don't know that. It's shit. It's a tapped creature, it's only a 3/2, I mean... The only way you get as a token is if you attack and opponent blocks and both creatures die. I don't know, man. Tokens tapped, like... I mean, it's good against Castle Ardenvale, yeah. Yes. If this card was untapped, it still wouldn't be good enough, is my opinion. New Gobbo? Another Gobbo? 3/1? 2 mana 3/1. Pack Tactics, yeah, power 6 or greater. Gains first strike. Okay, Scuffed. That is a disgusting looking card. Jesus. Baleful Beholder. When it enters the battlefield, sack an enchantment, creatures gain menace. Nope. Wish. Okay, this one's kind of interesting. 3 mana sorcery. Play a card you own from outside the game this turn. It's in red. Yep. And
this is great banter.
I wouldn't write this card off yet, chat. Because remember, you can put a land in your sideboard, man. And you have access to your 4th land all the time. And then if it's the late game, you're just fetching another card, huh? So, what type of deck is this good in? It's good with fires? Nice, man. Nice! So this card basically lets you stop... If you're playing a combo deck, you don't need to have your win con in your deck, huh? At all. But you need to be playing a deck that generates a lot of mana. It's pretty good with Burgie though, because it has a red card. I think this card's pretty good, man. I think this card's pretty good, but I won't be playing it in any decks because I like to remain awake when I'm playing Magic, and that goes in decks that make you fall asleep only. Ranger's Hawk. 1/1 flyer. 4 tap an untapped creature you control. Venture. Wow. That is really bad. Intrepid Outlander, 2 mana 2/3 with reach. And Pack Tactics Venture. Nope. Scuffed. That is a 3 mana 3/2 Pridemate. Scuffed. Dragon Turtle. Dragon Turtle is creature type Dragon Turtle. That's good to know. 3 mana 3/5 with flash. What? When it enters the battlefield, tap it and up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. 3 mana 3/5 flash. Okay, so you're forced to tap this even if they don't have a creature in play, huh? It is a cheap dragon, man. For Dragon Tribal, by the way. I'm trying to think of a reason why this card's not insane. I'm not seeing one. It's kind of bad against... It's really bad game 1 against a Gandalf deck, huh? Is it a sideboard card only? See, it's pretty awkward to play this in your main deck, honestly. It is pretty awkward, because, I mean, this thing is absolutely unplayable if there's no creature in play. If there is a creature in play, it just seems completely insane, though. Is significantly better than a removal spell if they have a creature in play. Yeah, I mean, you can tap their manlands, yeah, that's pretty cool. How is this not terrible? It's tapped for a whole turn after you play it? Well, I mean, the opponent's creature's also tapped for a whole turn after you play it, right? So slow, though? It's not slow at all. How is it slow? It's slow because it's a turtle. This card is insane, man. Like, you flash it in, you tap an opponent's creature down. Yeah, both creatures remain tapped for a whole turn, but your creature untaps first. I don't understand. And you've got a 3/5, man. You've prevented a lot of damage, and then you've got over multiple turns, and then you've got a 3/5, and they've got a creature that is almost certainly smaller than a 3/5, so they still can't attack with it anyway. And now your 3/5 wall is cock blocking the rest of their creatures too. This thing is crazy. Tiger Tribe Hunter. Whenever Tiger Tribe Hunter attacks, if you attack with creatures with total power 6 or greater, you may sack a creature. If you do, deal damage to creature equal to the sacked creature's power. Okay. Garbage. Oswald Fiddlebender. What a name, man. See, that is a good Magic card name. Oswald Fiddlebender. No, none of your adult dragon. Oswald Fiddlebender. The Gnome Artificer. That is a card name. I'll be honest, that fiddle bending does sound like a crime that would land you in jail. But apart from that, it is a cool name. Apart from that small tiny detail, it's a cool name. Alright, what's the card do? It's a 2-mana 2/2. And for 1 white and a Taperino, you can sacrifice an artifact. Search your library for an artifact card whose mana value is equal to the mana value of the sacrificed artifact plus 1. Put it onto the battlefield. Hey man, good card. Artifact Pod on a 2-mana 2/2. Vanifar was hot garbage. Yes, that's because it costs 4 and creatures suck. This costs 2 and artifacts are good. So you play this plus Mox, it's like a blue-white artifact deck. I mean, what type of benefits do you get from like scaling up your artifacts? So again, you need artifacts that you can get immediate value from, and they're good enough to justify a slot in your deck if they're only in play for 1 turn, huh? What type of artifacts is that? So Mox is one of those. That is absolutely good enough to only get 1 use out of it. Lanterns are good, yeah. Tomes? Yeah. Tomes are okay, but Corridor Monitor untaps it. Yeah, so you can go from a 1-drop, but it's 2 mana. So for 2 mana, you can go from a 1 mana artifact, get your Corridor Monitor out, get a 3 mana artifact and play. So you get to skip 2, which is crazy. How do you skip 2? Well, you can do Corridor Monitor, right? Or whatever it's called. The 1/4 guy that untaps him, and you just... So you sack a 1 mana artifact, you pull out the Monitor, you untap, and then you sack the Monitor and pull out a 3-drop. But I don't really know what the 3s are. Glass Casket is a good one. Well, I think Glass Casket would... I don't know. It's not a great one, is it? Because you can't sack Glass Casket. You need to keep your casket in play. Is Corridor Monitor even in Standard? Or is that not a historic card? It's Eldraine. Of course it's an Eldraine common. Fuck off, man. Of course it's a common from Eldraine. Zariel, Archduke of Avernus. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Make a devil with when it dies, deal 1. At the end of the first combat phase in your turn, untap target creature you control. After this phase, there is another combat phase. Okay. Seems kind of bad. Gives haste. Okay. It doesn't say give haste there. Oops. So 0 make a devil token. That's fine, whatever. +1/+0 haste on your +1. I mean, that is no joke. That's a pretty crucial detail. I mean, that changes it from being whatever to pretty good, right? Protects itself for 0. The plus is decent. The ult is fast, so somewhat relevant, and it's pretty good. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about how often you can. You're gonna have to 0 her pretty much every time you play it, but it is a massive threat, man. I think it might be very good. I'm calling this one very good, chat. I'm calling this card standard staple. Targnar, Demon Fanged. 2 mana, 2/2 legendary null. Attacking creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay. Absolutely friggin' garbage. Cridle of Baldur's Gate. Human Elf Rogue. Rogue, Monk IS. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses 1 life and mills a card, and you gain 1 life and scry 1. Whenever you attack, you may pay 2. If you do, target creature cannot be blocked this turn. Human Elf Rogue. I mean, it's kind of a lot worse than the other rogues. Long text, but still bad. Yep. I mean, scry 1 on attack is no joke, but yeah, it's scuffed compared to the other rogues, isn't it? I don't even think it would be like a one-of in rogues or anything. If it had flash, maybe. But no flash, by the way. Fly. Aura. Enchanted creature has flying, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, venture into a dungeon. Volo me. Volo. That's a good name for a card, man. Fly. You know exactly what it does. Hunter's Mark. 3 less to cast if it targets a blue permanent. This spell can't be countered. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Rip Tef. 1 mana can't be countered. Absolutely decimate a Tef. So if you have a 4 power creature in Historic, they can't cast their Tef. That's pretty good. We have mana up. I mean, you only need to have 1 green. It's one green. This thing is crazy. Am I crazy? Or this thing is crazy, right? Surely this thing is crazy. I mean, I think you're crazy if you think this thing sucks. Hopefully there's some Gandalf tears. Oh, James, I can already feel you getting me hard. I'm just so sick of this, Wizards. You're taking the colour pie and snapping it over your flipping knee. Green is getting all of the best removal. Green can't be interacted with because of all their stuff can't be countered, and they have all the best creatures, except rogues. And that's because they have stupid mechanics like mill. Or those red decks that always kill me before I can get my head-drawn alignment combo deck to work. This has to be a pasta. This has to be a pasta. There's no way. Come on. Come on. Where, James, come on, mate. You've copied this. This is not an original piece of work. You've yoinked this from another human. Come on. That is a huge pasta. I'm sick of white decks using board wipes against me. It's so stale. And it's bullshit that my Colossal Dreadmaws keep getting downbladed. Okay. Sadly, it is a pasta, man. I'm very sad. Fuck you, James. I thought you had provided me with some material. It would have been perfect if they just kept the Colossal Dreadmaws out. The Colossal Dreadmaw ruins the pasta. ruins pasta. They just have to change that to a reasonable creature, and it would be a great pasta. No, 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 please, no. I fucking hate color hate. The dinosaur was annoying. Mystical Dispute is still annoying, and now we get this. I'm kind of true, but also it's fine. Find the path. Enters the battlefield, venture into the dungeon. Enchanted land has add double green. I mean, could be a 2-mana card, huh? Why is it not 2 mana? Mordekainen's Polymorph. Until end of turn, target creature becomes a dragon with base power and toughness 4/4 and gains flying. Wow, that's shit. Of course it's shit, yeah. Skullport Merchant. Dwarf Citizen. When Skullport Merchant enters the battlefield, create a treasure. Sack another creature or treasure, draw a card. Or 2 mana to sack, huh? Yikes. Zombie Ogre. A 3 black zombie ogre. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, venture into the dungeon. Froghemoth. 5 mana 4/4 trample haste. Whenever Froghemoth deals combat damage to a player, exile up to that many target cards from their graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on Froghemoth for each creature card exiled this way. You gain 1 life for each non-creature card exiled this way. Wow. Unplayable. Is that unplayable? Trample haste. It is only a 4/4, huh? I mean, 4/4 is tiny. That is a small ass creature. Questing Ooze. I don't know. Maybe I'm with you, chat. Maybe I'm with you. Maybe it's not that good. Triumphant Adventure. 2 mana 1/1 rare Death Touch. As long as it's your turn. First strike Death Touch. When it attacks, venture into the dungeon. Human Knight. I mean, first strike Death Touch is no joke, guys. Human and Knight. Knight is a good tag, so is Human, obviously. I mean, this thing has to be good, surely. How is this 1 mana kill everything that isn't indestructible? It's not 1 mana, man. 1+1 is 2. Are the dungeon payoffs even worth it? I mean, yes. It doesn't have to deal damage to get a bit of value. You just have to attack, right? It's free stuff, man. Free stuff, baby. Like, sure, you know, like, Ferraris are pretty cool. But if someone offers you a free Toyota, still decent, right? It's not free, you have the overcost of the ability. I don't think it's overcosted, man. I'm pretty sure a 1/1 first strike Death Toucher would cost 2, right? You have to make a dungeon deck. It's not really free. No, you don't. The dungeons don't go in your deck. They just start with you at the start of the game. That thing's gas, man. Varus Silvery Moon Ranger. 3 mana 3/3 reach ward 1. Human Elf Ranger. Whenever you cast a creature or planeswalker spell, venture into the dungeon. Whenever you complete a dungeon, create a token. Whenever you cast a creature, venture. Man, we need to look at the dungeons again, huh? Ward 1's these guys. Ward 1 is very these. Hama Pashar, Ruin Seeker. Human Wizard. Room abilities of dungeons you own trigger an additional time. Okay, that's a limited bomb. Zalto Fire Giant Duke. A giant barbarian. 5 mana trample. Whenever it's dealt damage, venture into the dungeon. 5 mana 7/3. Okay, that thing sucks. Dungeon Descent. Enters the battlefield tapped. Tap for mana. 4. Tap. Tap an untapped legendary creature you control. Venture into the dungeon. What? This thing is awful. I was excited for a sick new colourless land. Why the hell does it come in tapped, dude? That is, like, ridiculous. Clever Conjurer. Mage Hand. 3 mana to 3. Untap target permanent. Not named Clever Conjurer. This is broken. Is it? You have to tap, man. It doesn't work in our deck, chat. Half-Elf Monk. 4 mana, 1/4 with Vigilance. Knoll Hunter. +1/+1 counter. Pack Tactics. Shesra Death's Whisper. Bewitching Whispers. When it enters the battlefield, target creature blocks this turn if able. Whispers of the Grave. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, you may pay 2 life. If you do, draw a card. Bad Midnight Reaper? I don't know, man. You get to force a shit block, huh?
It really is.
You have to do a shit attack first. Do you? I mean, you attack with your 3-drop that's bigger than theirs, right? You play this on 4, you attack with your 3-drop, and then they are forced to block. And then it's if any creature dies, then you get to draw. It's not the end of the world, man. I mean, it is very, very expensive, though. You happen on a glade. Search your library for 2 basic lands. Put them into your hand, then shuffle. Return target permanent from your graveyard to hand. Wait, isn't that kind of good? Bad Cultivate. It's a modal instant speed spell. It's nothing like Cultivate. It is an absolute Greed Lord card, but I don't know. But both of those sides are good. There is not going to be a game of Magic where you can't cast this card. I think this thing has to be decent. I refuse to believe. I mean, I'm also refuse to say the name. I'm not going to say, oh, I think the opponent has You Happen on a Glade. I'm triggered, man. What can we call this card, chat? How about we call it Glade? The opponent has Glade. You come to the Knoll camp. Oh my god. Up to 2 target creatures can't block. This is so ridiculous. Target creature gets +1/+3/+1 until end of turn. Okay. This card sucks. 2 target creatures can't block +3/+1. Yeah, I mean, neither of those modes are good. Scam. You find some prisoners. Choose one. Would you like to break their chains and destroy target artifact, or would you like to interrogate them and exile the top 3 cards of the target opponent's library? Choose one of them, and until the end of your next turn, you may play that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. What? I mean, it's kind of a nice sideboard card, isn't it? So it's a nice destroy artifact sideboard card. It's never dead, huh? You can just make it and turn it into 2 mana, draw a probably decent card. I mean, it's not as good as a Braid, but not many cards are as good as a Braid, are they? Shambling Ghast. 1 mana, 1/1. When it dies, target creature and opponent control gets -1/-1 until the end of turn, or create a treasure. Wow. That is pretty good. Treasure on a 1/1, huh? On a 1 mana 1/1. That is really quite good, is it not? How is this good? How is it not good? How the hell is it not good? It can block and kill 2 toughness creatures. It can block something else, and it can kill like a PV, for example. And it's a treasure, man. This thing, it kills Hallowblade. PV. This is all true of Fireblade Charger. Yeah, and Fireblade Charger is a 4 of in mono red, you clown. What are you on about? This card is not good because it's kinda the same as this other card that sees play. Can use it with... Yeah, it's a way to get treasure for your Thoughtseize, huh? I don't know, guys. The bold prediction from the streamer that Thoughtseize is the best card in the set is coming together quite nicely. Yep, Toske is now a dead card though, Sag. Ripped squirrel. How is this a common? I don't know. It seems like an uncommon, huh? This card? I think it's really good, man. A really nice reason to put some village rights in your deck, and therefore a good reason to play some Claim the Firstborns, and therefore a good reason to play Magic. Grim Wanderer. 2 mana, 5/3 flash. What?! Can't cast a spell only if a creature died this turn? Oh my god, man. Oof. Okay. Okay, dude. Let's go. Right, we can certainly make creatures die this turn. That's something we can do. It's a goblin warlock. What? Right, this card is gas. Mardu goblins incoming. Mardu goblins. I mean, this card's good enough for Historic, man. Historic has Phyrexian Tower. This plus Phyrexian Tower? Kick W? Yep, chat. It's time to rejoice. There's finally a Magic the Gathering creature that can block Lovestruck Beast. We can block Lovestruck Beast. Card is gasoline. Card is gasoline. Does not die to stomp. Does not die to stomp. Blocks Lovestruck Beast. This is now a Grim Wanderer stream. This plus Loris. This plus Loris, man. Comments? This card is just so good, huh? Busted? Don't know about busted, but very, very, very good. Why did I follow him? I don't know. Why do things happen as they do in dreams? But when he beckoned, I had to follow him. And from that moment, we travelled together. East. Always into the east. That's a really tall goblin. True. That is a very tall goblin. I love this card, man. I love this card. Second favourite card of the set so far. Air Cunt Elemental. 6 mana, 2/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, return up to one other target creature to its owner's hand. Oh my god, this thing's gonna be so annoying. You're ambushed on the road. God damn it, dude. Make a retreat. Return target creature you control to its owner's hand. Stand and fight. Target creature gets +1/+3 until end of turn. Hand over your loot and no one gets hurt. Pretty good trick. I don't know, the make a retreat part is so bad, innit? Like, what about protection or buff? I mean, protection or buff would still be worse than dive down, remember? Because dive down is protection and buff. So this thing is just scuffed, isn't it? This thing is mega scuffed. Yuan T. Malison. Snake Rogue. Can't be blocked as long as it's attacking alone. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, venture into the dungeon. Silent. Slithering. Sinister. This card's pretty scuffed, I think. So, remember what we said about the dungeons. The venture cards have to be evaluated as good or bad depending on the first venture. So, what are the first ventures? Does anyone have a link to like all 3 of the dungeons? Because I've kind of forgot what they are. This thing here? Each player loses 1 life. Each player loses 2 life unless they discard a card. Each player loses 2 life unless they sack an artifact, a creature, or a land. And then you get a 4/4. I mean, maybe. Swing for 3, swing for 4, swing for 4, make a 4/4. Pretty good. Very interesting. Okay, where were we? We're at Yuan T. Malison. Wait, this is kind of sick with that 3-drop, huh? That draws you a card when you attack. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal damage to a player, draw a card. 2 into 3, man. You play this dude on turn 2. And then you just play this guy on turn 3, attack with a 2-drop, unblockable. Venture, draw a card. Seems decent. That's a curve. You find a cursed idol. Destroy artifact, destroy enchantment, create a treasure, and venture. Jesus, man. What? That's a lot of things, dude. That's what is known in the business as a sideboard card. Belletti. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, put a counter on Belletti. Feign Death. Until end of turn, target creature gains when this creature dies, return to the battlefield tapped under its control with a +1/+1 counter on it. I mean, we kind of have this on a land, huh? So, pretty scuffed. Dwarfhold Champion. If it's equipped, +0/+2. Scuffed. Bar the Gate. Counter target creature or planeswalker spell, venture into the dungeon. Scuffed. Ray of Frost. Flash Aura, 2 mana. When it enters, if the enchanted creature is red, tap it. As long as the enchanted creature is red, it loses all abilities. Enchanted creature does not untap. So, red hate for blue, huh? 2 mana. I mean, 2 mana is kind of a lot. Good sideboard. Well, again, as I said, like, mono blue is pretty awful, huh? So you're probably playing a second colour, and your second colour is probably a colour that you've chosen because it offers you good removal. Like black or red, you know? You don't need this. Because your normal 2 mana removal spells are probably better than this red hate card. It is an answer to Flame Skull, yeah. True. Earth Cunt Elemental. Siege Monster. When it enters the battlefield, roll a d20. 1 to 9, each player sacks a permanent. 10 to 19, each opponent sacks a permanent. 20, each opponent sacks 2 permanents. I mean, this thing should cost like 3, huh? Chaos Channeler. Wild Magic Surge. Roll a d20. Exile the top card of your library, you may play it this turn. Exile the top 2 cards of your library, you may play them this turn. Exile the top 3 cards of your library, you may play them this turn. That's kind of awful. Kick in the Door. Put a counter on target creature. That creature gains haste until end of turn and can't be blocked by walls this turn. Venture into the dungeon. Kick in the door, man. I mean, it's no Footfall Crater, is it, chat? It is no Footfall Crater, that's all I'm saying. Dungeon Map. 3 mana. Tap add colourless, and for 3 you can venture. Venture is so bad. Yeah, so far it's not looking too hot, but so far. X triple red sorcery deals X damage divided as you choose. Deals 8 damage among X creatures and or planeswalkers. Why can't it go face, man? Why can't I choose one target? Opponent's face. 4 mana deal 8 face. That's fine. Sorcery speed. That would actually be fine. Unironically, it would be fine. Burn Gamer spotted. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think for If there was a card that said deal 8 damage to the opponent's face, how much mana do you think it would be? It would cost 4, right? That would be the price. If it was a rare. Like, you always get these shitty commons that are like 8 mana, deal 5 to face, you know? But it would cost 4, guys, come on. Burn would be so broken then? It should be broken. Burn should be the best deck. And then your job as a deck builder is to beat Burn. That should be the way it is. Ecuador! Ecuador!